Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Good.
We've been married 25 years.
Yes.
Isn't that
How
exciting?
exciting.
Yes.
Hmm.
And I'm feeling better than I was last week.
That's an improvement because you were miserable and
I was
sleepy.
so sick last Thursday and Friday. I think I worked until 2:30 in the afternoon on Thursday and I had to tap out. I went to sleep and I don't think I woke up until like 10 o'clock. And
So,
then came down here, recorded the show, and went back to sleep.
yeah. In
Yeah.
some ways that's good. In some ways it's bad.
But on Sunday, it was our anniversary,
It
and
was.
we went out of town
We did.
and we celebrated it.
We did. Are you going to tell anybody who we are? Or are you just going to keep randomly talking in
I
case they don't know
thought
who
we've
we are?
already had a couple shows on here.
But the people maybe knew.
Well, then why would they have hit play if they didn't know who we were?
Maybe they said, oh, this one sounds like the best one ever with this
Uh,
exciting
I'm
title.
Kristen.
Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Kevin.
Okay. Regardless, I'm not going to say my name at the beginning of all of them. I'm just going to trust that people have read who we are.
Hmm.
But anyway,
Yes.
so I came back to work today and it was my first day back
Mm-hmm.
and talked about what I did in my time off and that we had celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary. And one person says to me, wow, 25 years. What's the secret?
Yeah. What is the secret? That's a good
So
question.
that was my question for you. What's the secret? What would you have answered? And what do you think I answered?
The secret to 25 years?
Yeah, what would you have answered if someone said to you this morning, what's the secret, Kevin?
God. I mean, it's not really a secret because 25 years I could not put up with you on my own, and you definitely could not put up with me on your own. So, I mean, it is only of God that we were together 25 years. I didn't even plan on living this long. I thought I'd be dead by 30.
Why do you think you're going to be dead by 30?
And I just lived a life for that. I did whatever I wanted with whoever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and whatever felt good that day, whatever numbed the pain inside that I had, and that was what I did, and that's the way I lived.
But if you thought you were going to be dead by 30, you were obviously knowing somewhere that you were living life not healthy for you, right? Like you knew that you were walking down the wrong path.
I don't know if it was knowing I was walking down the wrong path. I think it was more in my mind at 20, early 20s, that I was living life to the fullest, enjoying all there was
So if you
in
live life to the
excess.
fullest, it's going to be short.
I mean, they say the good die young, right? Like
That's we-
James
that's
Dean, all
that's a
those
weird.
things. But I mean, I don't know about that. I think as you mature, it changes. But I think when you're young, I mean, I think there's those milestones. Like you turn 16, you get a driver's license. So you go out. What do? You drive fast. You drive crazy. You turn 18, you can do other things. You don't have to listen to your parents. So you stay out. You do the things that you couldn't do before. You go to college, and then all bets are off because pretty much everything's within reach. Or you turn 21. So what do? What do most people do when they turn 21? They go out drinking all the time for a period. So I think all those things you do for a period, and I think when you start doing them, do them in excess. Kind of like, if your parent tells you you cannot do this, what's the first thing you're going to do when they're not there to tell you no? You're going to do it.
I don't think I did everything I was told not to
I'm sorry, you missed a lot. And I think that's kind of funny because now when you look at us and like our girls, like the way you and I see things are totally different. Like, oh, the 16-year-old girl is going out with her boyfriend and he's driving in a car. Oh, that's perfectly innocent. Oh, no, that's not innocent. I was a 16-year-old boy. I know what that means. You're like, oh, no, never. And it's just, it actually, I think that's one way that our past, the way our family of origin, our upbringing it truly affects the way we see things.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I definitely think that when you look at our daughters at this age, 16, 18, 20, like the
We
late
don't have an
teens,
18-year-old daughter right now. She's 19.
you know what I mean though.
Okay.
Um, that you're looking at them through your lens of history.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what you were thinking and doing as a boy that age,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm looking at them through my lens of history. I don't know, what's that look for? And feeling like I was not bad or naughty or what?
I think that's funny.
Why do you think that's funny?
Well, for every one of those, for the way I look at them, there's a reason I look at those girls, our girls, that way, because I remember the girls from that time too. It's not like, oh, like I was forcing people to do something. No, 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 no. These girls were just as interested in what was going on as I was. So when we look at it that way, like maybe you had a more tame or more reserved or whatever, however you want to put it. But let me tell you what, there are girls today and there were girls then that are wilder than boys and like they're looking for anything and everything in the world.
Well, I don't think it's just guys versus girls. Like, I wasn't saying it's a male versus female thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I also think that back then versus now, culture is different too. I mean, they're definitely exposed to things and growing up a lot quicker.
Absolutely. I mean, if you just look at the cell phone and everything, you have the world's information in your hand, in your pocket, and that's not always good. I mean, there's
Right.
good, but then there's all the other stuff there too. So, like porn and all those things are just right there. Like back then, and I guess I'll date myself a little bit here. I mean, there were cell phones were just becoming like really popular and stuff like that. But like you could text someone if you typed like 50,000 times because you had the numbers that you were texting off of. So you're like, you're hitting to get a C, you're typing 3 times to get that C. I mean, texting was hard.
But
There
don't
were
forget
really,
what else there was, right?
yeah, yes, your favorite pager.
Pagers and
That was the
voicemail.
best. Yes, how many pagers did we have?
Well, I distinctly remember, and I know I've told you this story or the girls or whomever, but when I was turning at 18, 19, somewhere in there, pagers were very, very popular and cell phones were just,
We are the same age here.
I know,
Okay.
but I'm just saying it for people that aren't you.
Mm-hmm.
You forget that we're talking to each other, but we're hoping other people are listening.
Mm.
So cell phones were just coming out. So it was like you had to decide at that point, what are you going to do? Are you going to get a pager or a cell phone? Both. I just could not understand. Why are you laughing at me?
I don't think you had to decide which you were going to get. I mean, I think it was like a natural progression
Well, no,
from
I
like
remember
a pager to a
distinctly.
cell phone. But the other thing but here's the other thing that before you say any of this, a pager you paid, I think it was like $12 a month. It was some ridiculously low thing.
It was like $5.75. It was like $5.
Well, you were here in New York. It was cheap, much cheaper, much more expensive in Virginia. But anyway, you had that. But if you had a cell phone, you paid like I think I paid like $30-$40 a month for my first cell phone. It was like $3 a damn minute. So it was like
Yeah, so you're right. Maybe there was a cost involved, but I honestly.
So it was like if you had to be committed to talking to someone, it had to be an important conversation, or you would get that $1,000 phone bill.
But I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like that means that anyone could get me at any time.
Yeah.
And I hated that idea. I was like, what if I don't want to be bothered? What if I don't want to pick up the phone? With a pager, I can get a number and they know that I will call them back at some point if it's important. I could go to a payphone and put a quarter in and call them immediately. However, it was like I literally remember thinking, I don't want everyone to be able to get a hold of me at every time.
Fun fact. I thought of this today. I was walking into the college where I went to teach class this morning. I'm walking in. There's a payphone.
Oh,
And it was
fun.
like pristine condition, like a nice normal payphone. Not like the ones you find today that if you see it, it looks like it's
Gross and old.
Yeah. No, I was like, wow, I haven't seen like a shiny payphone
In
in
a hot minute.
I can't even remember. On the other side of that, it's funny that you say I couldn't imagine people being able to get a hold. Because guess what? I can't get a hold of you now. You don't have your telephone. Where's your Apple Watch? Where's that?
I don't know. I would love to know. I was thinking perhaps it had fallen into the laundry and it's missing in the laundry room, maybe. I don't know where my Apple Watch
So
is.
not much has changed
But not,
in
yes.
32 years.
No, not quite that long. But it doesn't matter.
31 and a half?
Maybe. But
31 and a half years ago you graduated.
oh, this wasn't a graduation. I was probably like 19, 20, more like that. I'm not sure. But bottom line is, you're right. Not much has changed. I'm not the best phone person.
How many notifications do you have on your phone right now? Just like
Are you talking? I don't.
missed calls, emails.
Oh, I do have my phone on me.
How many
No, emails.
notifications do you have?
I've been better on my. I have 0 notifications on text. I have 435 unlistened to voicemails.
My phone doesn't even hold 435 voicemails.
I got the bigger size so that I could just keep storing stuff. No, honestly, it's not top priority for me. I would much rather be in a book or in the moment. Okay. So
what else?
So tangent, you going back to what's the secret of 25 years?
It's God.
What do you think I answered?
God.
The person.
God.
Close.
Jesus.
I said priorities. I said my priorities are God first, husband second, kids third, everything else fourth. That was my answer. So it's pretty close to yours, except I just moved on.
So you've been doing this for 25 years?
No, but when they're asking what the secret is, I feel like that is the secret.
How different would our lives be today if we got that 25 years ago? Or 20 years ago? Or 15 years ago? Or 10 years ago? Think about that.
I don't know. I don't know how different our life would be. Really? I mean, we probably would have... I think God has blessed us by using us because of what we walked through. I think that we're better equipped to help people in a certain way because of all the pain. Yeah. But it's not perfect. We are failing daily.
Absolutely. And I think
every day.
I think that's another thing that, like, when people ask you that question, like, because that is a pretty common thing. Like, when you say, oh, I've been married 25 years, even 20, whatever.
15.
Yeah. People are like, well, how do you do that? Or
right.
How do you... And it is. And it's like... we're not good at it. Like, it's not... Nobody said, oh, we've been married 25 years and it's all been perfect and happy and everything else. And I think that's the answer they're looking for. They're like, oh, what's the secret that if I do this right now, that I'll be happy for 25 years? And we kind of miss that because that's what we want. We want that happily ever after thing. But we're not happily ever after people because the world is just full of sin and crap. And
Jesus says there will be suffering.
Absolutely.
So he's not saying, oh, come follow me. It's going to be great. It's a party.
Yeah.
He says, when you struggle, when this happens.
And I think that's the other thing that people miss in, like, part of that only God can give you, because if you're doing it on your own, there will be a time when it's like, listen, am I going to keep going? Am I going to keep putting the effort in? Or am I just going to give up and cut my losses and go on to something else? And that's where we live in society today, because that's the easy way. And that's what people choose to do. It's like, you know what? I don't like you anymore. I don't like what you're doing. I'm not in love with you. So I'm just going to go find somebody that makes me happy or something like that. And they just give up. They don't have God as that foundation that, look, marriage is a covenant. It's not a disposable thing.
Right.
And when they do that, so, okay, we were together for 5 years. I give up. Oh, wait a minute. In a year or two, here's another one. Oh, they're great. This is happy. It's wonderful. Everything's going to just go perfectly. Another 3, 4, 5, 10 years. It's like, oh,
When
that
it
wasn't
doesn't.
that wasn't the right one either. And you see people who honestly go through this 3, 4, 5 times, like, oh, that wasn't the one. That wasn't the one. And somewhere in there, you would think they'd have to be like, wait a minute, that wasn't the one. That wasn't. Maybe I'm not the one. Maybe I'm not putting the effort in. Maybe
But
I'm
that's
not
the
doing
thing.
what
So it's none of us are the one, right? There is no the one.
exactly.
Whoever you're married to is the one, and that's it, period.
Yes.
So the answer is also just getting up every day and making the choice over and over and over. Just like making that choice to forgive over and over and over. And obviously we're talking about not those situations where there's abuse or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. I mean, definitely want to keep that clear. However, in a marriage that we have two people who are both wanting a successful marriage and wanting to be happy and wanting to have a life together, they need to just overcome the other downfalls because we all have downfalls.
And I think that's important what you said, that you have to get up and put in the work. Love is not a feeling. Like, you can be enamored with someone, you can be in love, and we talk about people with that in premarital and different things. You may be in lust for the person, you may be in love with the idea of something, but love is an action. It's something that we get up and do every day. We get up and we say, you know what, I'm going to love them today, whether they're good or not, or whether it's a good day or a bad day. I love them because that's what God does with us. You know, God so loved the world, he gave his only son so that we wouldn't perish and have everlasting light. And that's it. He gave his son. He put forth the action. And that is what love is. It's not about, oh, I feel really great today about you. You're wonderful. You did everything I wanted you to. So I love you. That's not it. It's not an end result. It's the action we put forth.
Yeah, I think that we just don't also have enough words in the English language for love because I think it can be a feeling, but that's not all it is, right? Like
Yep.
there's much more to it. So we look at the Bible's definitions of love, and there are so many different
Mm-hmm.
words for love that we don't even have. Like the love of God is agape, right?
Mm-hmm.
He agapes us.
Mm-hmm.
It's all encompassing. It is never failing. It is always truthful, always there. But then there's phileo love, which is brotherly love. It's the love that we have for our good friends. It's a different type of love. But in the English language, it's just love. So one person can say, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I love you, brother. But I love you. I might not feel like I'm liking you right now.
And that's
But
important.
I can love you in a different way. But it's all one word. So,
And that's important because when we just put it down to that feeling that, it's like, oh, I feel really good. I feel this. I feel that. That's not what it is. It's not what it is at all. It's not about that feeling. It's about what we choose to do. God loves us and everything, and he chose to give his son. And in the other part of that, he, by giving his son, he showed us grace and forgiveness. And that's the other part. You have to have those hand in hand. Like you said, you choose to love, you choose to forgive. And we do that over and over daily because there's none of us that, I don't really care who you are. There's not a perfect day. None of us have a perfect day where we don't mess up. And especially when you're married, like, we mess up. Like, we can have the best of intentions. We can say something that's taken wrong. We can do something we don't think about the consequence of, or we don't even think they'll take that way and stuff like that. And, that's when that grace comes in, that forgiveness and everything. Sometimes it's big things. Sometimes we do things we know we shouldn't do. But more often than not, it's those little things that build up that we have to choose to love. We have to choose to forgive. Because when we, in with the priorities like you talked about, God, spouse, children, everything else, it goes in that order. And we're doing the same thing God does with us. He loves us. He forgives us. We're doing that with our spouses. Same thing we do with our kids. How often do our kids mess up? When they're little, it's little things. When they're bigger, sometimes it's bigger things, no matter what it is. And we just have to keep following that model and everything. Love, forgive. Because that's what God did for us. And when God looks at us, that's what he sees. He sees his love, his forgiveness, and he moves forward. And he does not choose to, it's like, oh, you messed up too much, you're done. That's not what he does.
Right. It's good. Good stuff.
25 years. What else? That was a long time ago. 1999. That was 19. That wasn't even 20. It was 19.
Is it the end of the 19s?
It was. The Y2K thing coming.
The 90s were a fun decade. I like the 90s. I mean, not fun like when I was like enjoying life in the 90s, but what I mean is like the music was good. Like
1999, Prince.
Oh, I wasn't a major
Probably
Prince fan.
Oh, I'm sorry. What else? What else was 1990? That was so, like, gas was like
99 cents.
$1.
I remember buying gas at 99 cents.
Well, I think that was a little bit early. That was like early 90s, but it was still like
Maybe.
$1 something. It was good.
$1.10.
Cars were like
COVID, it went down to 99 cents. Wasn't it that year? Like nobody was driving and gas dropped that year, like
COVID?
super cheap.
No,
Yeah, when nobody was driving during COVID.
I don't remember that part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that. I did get gas for $2.55 today, and I felt like I won the lottery. I was like, "This is amazing."
Did you play the lottery?
I did not. I don't play the lottery, so I'll never win.
I know that.
But I felt like it. $2.55. I'm like, this is crazy. So that was good. But yeah, we had a good weekend. We celebrated together. We talked about the stuff yet to come. We talked about how good God is, and that without him, we'd be done long ago.
Yeah. So God is the answer, and keeping everything in priorities. And I think they're pretty much the same answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Love, forgiveness, God, priorities. It's all the same thing.
Yep.
Anyway, so hopefully next week or the following week we'll have our first guest.
Yes, that'll be exciting.
We have some people in mind. We have some people who have agreed to come talk to us.
Because I think it's important to hear people's stories of overcoming, because no matter what, we're all going to be overcoming something in marriage. And really, as I sat there and thought about our wedding vows, it was sort of like, in sickness and in health. Well, when you're together, you're going to experience both in good and bad. You're going to have days that are good and days that are bad, or days that are both. In
richer and poorer.
That's right, richer and poorer. So I just feel that no matter who you are, no matter how long you've been married, if it's for any point of time, you're going to start experiencing both sides of the coin to each of those things. So asking guests onto the show that can tell their story and how they overcame hardship in their marriage is super helpful.
Absolutely. And like a lot of those hardships that you just mentioned, they're not really secondary. They're hardships in your marriage, but they could be people with health issues and stuff like that. So it's just kind of the byproduct where it brings that into marriage, but it's not like, oh, we have this big crisis. It's like, okay, we're married. We're going to do this together. We're going to get through this and work through it. I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader. I'm going to help you. I'm going to be your advocate. I'm going to do all that stuff so that I'm here and you've got that going. Same thing with money. If somebody loses a job, it's like, well, okay, that's not like, oh, it's not your fault. It's not this big. It can bring the gravity can really hit your marriage and
Well, it's
stuff.
the stress, right? Like
Yeah,
the stress of those situations can affect and will make small holes large. And it's
absolutely.
just really good for us to always be learning from each other.
Yeah,
And if we learn from our own experiences, but how much more can we learn from what someone else has walked through
exactly.
to show us how we can do better? And you never know what we're going to be walking through in the future too. So,
And I think that's the other thing that, when we go through these things, when we have these trials and everything, which we will have, Jesus said it, James said it. I mean, it's all over the Bible. We will have these trials. And when we go through them, what we do after that, what we do with that story, that's what God's calling us to also. We're to share that with the people, share that with the others around us so that we can help them not stumble, or if they're going through these things, so that they have hope and know that, you know what, it's only a season and the season will be over and we'll be on to something else. And, that's what we're going to be doing with all the guests and stuff like that. So if you would like to be a guest on the show, reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you. We do already have some people who are signed up, planned, and
lined up.
everything,
Yep.
and cannot wait to share that with you. But if you've got a story and want to talk to us and talk about it, we'd love to have you.
Or a topic, even.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you guys have questions, if there's something you're going through, we're more than happy to talk about it, help you with it. The best we can. If we don't know, we can find you an answer. We know a lot of people. We can definitely find you an answer. Point you in the right direction.
Sounds
So
good.
I think that's it for this
Yep.
week.
Have a good week.
Have a great week. Enjoy Christmas shopping and all the craziness right now. We're getting down
And
to
Advent.
literally getting down to crunch time. We've got 2 weeks till Christmas.
Yeah, 13 days now.
13 days. That means only...
Right? Is it 13 or 14?
It's 2 weeks from today.
Okay, so 14 days.
Yeah, 13 shopping days.
But 13, right. Like once you hit Christmas Eve, you better be done.
I mean,
So-
that used to be my favorite day to shop.
That's ridiculous. There's nothing left.
What about when we left every present to wrap till Christmas
What about
Eve?
when we actually had to go to the stores to shop
That was fun.
instead of ordering? Wasn't
was
fun.
so amazing.
All right, we're signing off.
That's 1999. We actually went to the store to buy presents.
Yeah.
You younger people, wrap your minds around that.
But-
there was no Amazon.
There was a Sears
There
catalog.
was no Walmart. Yeah, there was a Sears catalog.
And that was the big catalog.
JCPenney, Montgomery
JCPenney.
Ward.
When I worked at JCPenney, I got a dollar, I think, for every catalog I sold.
Ooh.
Or maybe it was $1 for every credit wrap.
Yeah, that's so old, so long ago.
Anyway,
Have a great week, guys. We will talk to you next week.
bye.
Bye.